Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Luca, and in today's video I want to show you how to implement schema markup on your Framer website. More specifically, I'll go over what schema markup is, how it can help with SEO, how to implement it on static pages, and also how to use it for CMS collections. So let's get started. Okay, so before we jump straight into Framer, I want to give you a very brief explanation of what schema markup is and how it can help with SEO. So in very simple terms, schema markup is a snippet of code that you can add to the head tag of your page to help search engines like Google or Bing better understand the content of your page. And the main goal of having schema markup implemented on your website is to have a chance of being featured in the rich snippets, which can increase the average clicks you get for impression. So let's look at an example so you better understand what I mean. Let's look at a very typical search query like how to lose weight. We have a bunch of results, and this is what a typical result on Google looks like. So we have the favicon, the site name, the title tag, and the meta description. That's basically what a normal result looks like on Google. On the other hand, we also have rich snippets that are a specific way in which Google show results so that they are more appealing to the user. For example, if we search for pancakes recipe, we see that results are much more appealing, and users will have more context to decide which site they want to visit. For example, here we have the carousel. So it's a list of possible options where you can see the image, the name of the recipe, the source, the ratings, the time to prepare, and finally all the ingredients. But also all the typical results have been modified, and there's much more stuff that Google shows to help users decide which result they want to visit. For example, from a typical result, we now also have the ratings, the votes, how long it takes to cook an image, and also some more internal links to the website. So yeah, that's basically it. The idea of having schema markup is not to make your website rank higher, but rather give search engines an easier time finding this information so that they can display them in search results and increase the average CTR, so how many people clicks on your result. Now that you know what schema markup is, we can look at the different types that you can implement on your website. So there is a very large library of different types of schema markup. However, only a handful are supported by Google, so better to focus on this one. Here's a list published by Google of the 45 different types of schema that Google supports. I will leave the link in the description below. Generally, there are some that will be used more than others. For example, the article, you can use it if you publish news on your website or blog articles. Then we have, for example, the course info, if you sell courses, the event, if you organize events. Then we have the FAQ, the frequently asked questions schema. Then we have, for example, the local business, which is very, very good and very helpful for local business SEO campaigns. Then we have the product, which shows the image of the product, how much it costs, the ratings, and so on. Then the recipe that we just saw. And yeah, those are basically the most used types of schema that you will probably use. One important thing to notice though is that not every page on your website will need a schema markup, and even if even if you can find a schema markup that fits that page, you will probably not see any return on your investment for pages that have very little value in terms of SEO. So for example, if you have the privacy policy, it doesn't make sense to spend time trying to make the privacy policy, trying to add a schema markup to your privacy policy, because nobody will ever search for it. So there's not really much value in it. However, it can definitely be helpful for the ones I just described. To implement this type of schema on your website, we will use something called JSON LD. JSON LD is just the preferred way by Google to use schema, so we will use this also because it's the only supported format from Framer. So yeah, if you're not familiar with JSON, don't worry, because here's a very handy tool that you can use to generate the JSON LD code for you. You can find this tool at technicalseo.com, but don't worry, because I will leave the link in the description. So you can pick the type of schema you want to implement, let's say a fact page, and all you have to do is just write in plain English what you want to display, and for example, question and answer 1, let's say, and the tool will generate the script for you. Once you have the script, you can simply copy and paste it into your head tag. So for example, if I copy this and I go over to my website, I can go to my site settings and find a page where I have a FAQ. For example, I have a dedicated page for the FAQ. As you can see here in the head tag, I already have the same exact type of schema that we have here, just with real questions and real answers. So this is basically it for static pages. However, for CMS pages, it's a bit more tricky, because you have to use variables from the CMS. So for example, if I go to my blog, you can see that I have a schema markup called blog posting. Blog posting is a subtype of schema from the article schema. As you can see, blog posting. News article, on the other hand, is if you publish news. However, those news article and blog posting are, let's say, subcategories of article. Article is more general, but I suggest you go with the more specific one. And as you can see, we use a very peculiar syntax to fetch variables from the CMS. So the main idea here is that you can write a simple JSON LD for static fields, for example, the context and the type. But once you have to use data from the CMS, you can use this syntax. So double curly brackets, then you write the name of the field, and then JSON, this bar, and then JSON. Do not make the mistake of adding how are they called, quotation marks outside of the curly brackets, because this will give a validation error, as this syntax already has quotation marks surrounding the title. So you don't have to. Just leave the curly brackets plus the title plus the JSON syntax. And yeah, that's basically it. Once you have created the schema markup using this tool, okay, you can add it to your website and change the static fields with CMS variables, and then all you have to do is publish your site. However, before you leave schema markup as it is, I suggest you always validate it. To do that, you can go to a page that has schema markup. For example, my blog articles, as we said, have schema markup. We can copy the URL and then paste it inside a validator. There are two main validators I suggest you use, the validator.schema.org or the rich results test from Google. They are basically equal, so you can choose the one you want. I usually go with the schema.org tester. And if I test my page and I wait, here you can see that we have 0 errors and 0 alerts, which means that the schema markup has been implemented correctly and it's good to go. Alright, this was my tutorial on how to implement schema markup on your firmware website. If you have found the video helpful, please consider subscribing and leaving a like. And if you have any questions or any topics you would like me to cover, feel free to leave a comment, and I'll see you guys in the next one.